Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's conversation. I'm Sara Jane, and I am delighted to be welcomed by my normal colleague, my usual colleague, I should say. There's nothing normal about any of us, Enolia, and our guest, Sara Troy, who's joining us from the States. So actually, we're coming from the UK, the States, and Namibia tonight, because it's tonight here and it's in morning for Sara. So hello, Enolia and Sara.
Hello.
Hello.
From Canada, by the way.
Oh, Canada, I do apologise.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's all right. Oh, no, we lost you again, Enolia, briefly. Let's keep going.
Okay.
Anyway, the topic of our programme for this programme is allowing the knowingness. Now, Sara, we invited you and we said, please choose a topic. And so this is your topic. So I know I could go straight into this wham bam because I could. But please share a little of what you mean by allowing the knowingness.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It's a delight to be here. The knowingness from my teachings is not the knowledge that you have in your head, but the knowledge that we get from the universe that comes through our soul. And very often we can relate that to our gut. You know, our gut knows. Why does it know? I don't know. I just know. And then that knowledge, that beautiful divine knowledge, goes to our heart and resonance. And then it goes to our spirit interaction, and our mind will know what it needs to know when it needs to know it. That's the knowingness. You don't need to validate it, justify it, dissect it. It just is. It's a truth. It literally aligns your chakras. It gives you absolutely no doubt, and it opens you up to possibilities that you did not see before. So that knowingness is out of head and into soul, heart, and spirit to understand the head knowledge.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Enolia, do you want to add anything?
Yes, many of us might know that knowingness as our higher self. Many of us might know that knowingness as our intuition, but the key is to trust yourself and to allow that knowingness to come forward. And if you, in trusting yourself, know that what comes forward is for yourself, and then make sure that it goes to that heart, just as we just discussed. What do I want to say? I want to say that it just shows through you.
Yeah.
So that knowingness is part of your light. That knowingness is part of who you fundamentally are if you trust yourself.
Mm-hmm. Allow, big word.
Yes.
It's a feeling. It really is a feeling. And I don't know whether either of you have got a short story that you can share of something when you absolutely, almost for me, felt the truth of it. Because I have, and I think I've got two particular ones, but I was reading Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code. And in that, now I was raised a Catholic, so Jesus married and Mary Magdalene, but when I read it in that book, and I felt it in the core of my being. I just felt the truth of it. And it was just an absolute knowingness that was true. And coming from the background I come from, that was quite, it was like, oh, but I can't say to my mother, have you read this book? Because of how I was raised. And then a few years later, I remember being sat in her lounge, or their lounge, and her saying she'd read it, the book. And I said, and it was a brilliant book. I couldn't put it down. And I remember saying to her, what did you think to the fact that it said Jesus was married to Mary Magdalene? Oh, yes, she goes. I was like, oh, for goodness sake. And I've been so worried about that. But that was, I just felt that sort of solar plexus almost rather than heart. It was right in the core of my being. And so that was a real knowingness. And I had a similar type of thing with another book on something else. And it was just I just absolutely felt felt the truth of it. So, Enolia, have you got a story, of something that occurred with you?
Yeah, so I was sitting here thinking about this, and it's funny because I have to say that in my household, we've always trusted ourselves. And one of the things that my mother used to impose upon me is that whenever you go out that door, it's imperative that you trust yourself, because that divine knowing can save your life. That divine knowing in certain scenarios, in trusting yourself, can make the difference in your life. And she was absolutely right. So I remember there being a time when I just was driving and, I knew exactly where I was going. But have you ever had one of those moments where you're driving, you know where you're going, but you go out of habit a different way? And it's just like, no, I'm going here, but you go out of habit a different way. And it was one of those moments where, I was supposed to go right. I ended up going left. My mind was just somewhere else. I was just following my instincts, trusting. And then I caught myself and I'm like, oh, I was supposed to go right. And then when I doubled back, there was an accident. And I just really feel in my heart that had I gone right immediately, I would have been right in the middle of the accident. Right in the middle of it. And it was like a 4-car pile up. And so I was so grateful. Something within me just said, you're going this way. And I went that way, and yeah, that's happened many times, many times, where you just know what you're supposed to do. And if you follow that instinct, it puts you in the right place at the right time, at the right moment. And sometimes that saves your life.
Sarah?
Actually, I've got two perspectives here. One that's come into my bed. From a child, I've always had this knowingness, and I used to counsel my teachers. And, they would say, gosh, where did that come from? How do you know that? I don't know. Well, can you repeat it? No, because I was just channeling what they needed to know when they needed to know it. And that's been with me all my life, way beyond my comprehension, but just being able to open up and allow to know what I need to know when I need to know it. But it's reminded me of a story when I was out driving in South Africa, a lovely drive, but it's literally rock and water, rock here. And there's a bay, a corner where you can stop and look out. But it's very dangerous. They had not put any bars along there at that point. And it was known to be a kind of a suicide thing where people just drove off. And I'd been given some antidepressants that made me hallucinate and thought that I could fly. And I'm going with my dog, my beautiful border collie, Candy. And she is, I'm driving along, fast in my open sports car. And she barks at me and I bark back at her. Then she paws me and I paw her. The next thing I know, she took her entire body and threw it on top of mine. And I'm driving stick, so it's not automatic. I literally came to the edge. This is the edge of the cliff. My tires were on the edge there. Suddenly, I snapped out of everything. Had she not done that, we both would have gone over. And so our knowingness isn't just a human thing. It's all living beings that are open. How did she know? What was going to happen? We both would have been dead had it not been for her. So we look to our animals and they intuitively know when we're in pain or when we need support. We just need love. If they're stressed out, it's generally a reflection of us. So it's not just us in the knowingness. Nature has a knowingness. It knows what to do and how to adjust to the wind and the weather and everything else. It is literally our guidance from the universe in everything that we do. If the big magic word you said, allow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you said pets. The number of people I've heard of, and it was just like the dog found a growth.
Yes.
On my boob or whatever, wherever, and it hurt so much. So animals, absolutely. And it is about listening to it.
Yeah.
The allowing is absolute, but it's listening to it. You know, when I was working with a client one day, and suddenly I found myself saying about being the love of your own life.
Mm.
Mm.
And I knew that that wasn't just for the person I was working with, that was for me, and that was
Yeah.
for every single person on this planet.
Yes.
That we should be the love of our own life. And so, and I think maybe by sharing our experiences and our understanding, we can use words and saying what something may mean.
Mm-hmm.
But if we share our experiences of something like that, you know, things that have happened to us and we've accepted them. How many times do you get asked a question? I've been doing this thing online that is helping to remove plastic from the oceans.
Mm.
And they ask a question and I second guess myself. And every time I do it, I get the answer wrong.
Yes, that's been in the head.
That wasn't the one I was pressed. So why did I, you know, whatever is the first thought should be where you go.
Yeah.
You know, sort of, no, you can't make a mistake per se, but you know, it's stop trying to second guess yourself and just listen to that intuition. You know, sort of, and
feel the knowledge, don't think it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what that leads me to think about is the fact that everything has energy.
Yes.
Okay. Everything has energy. And I want to refer back to what Sara Troy said, which is that, you know, that instinct and that intuition, how do you tune into it?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you mentioned nature. And one of the things that we have to understand is that when you are in tune to the vibration, there is a peace within you. Okay. And that peace that washes over you allows you to be at like a 0 point. Mm-hmm. And that 0 point allows you to feel, it intensifies your feeling. And I'm not talking about the physical senses at all. Okay, because I always like to kind of interpret it like this. You have the horizontal, which is your regular senses. You see, touch, taste, smell, and feel, you know, through the touch and everything. But then we have that horizontal senses. And that's where everything that we do when we pray, it's sacred. When we feel or interpret or intuit something, okay, it's that place of the unknown. Yes. And so when you're feeling that vibration of nature, when you're feeling that vibration, it's that place that you're allowing to receive from that which you don't see. And that's important to understand that. So that intuition or that knowing comes into that field. And so that's why we need to be fully present to receive it. Mm-hmm. I mean, what are your thoughts about that?
Sara.
Oh, you're on my topic. Every single thing in the universe, in the world, on this planet, in us are particles. They're all measured by math. They're all energetic, absolutely everything. And when you resonate with people, you're on the same wavelength. You're in the same vibe. You're on the same frequency, right? And that's when that synergy there allows, as I call it, the symphony. We're all an instrument in life. Learn how to play your instrument. Find your orchestra, create a symphony that resonates out and invites others. Every single thing is energy. And if we tune out of our heads and the conditional intellect, conditional an expectation of what you should be, who you should be, what you should be earning, who you should be with, how you should dress, how this, that, etc. If you get rid of all of that and tune into how beautiful, divine, and wonderful you really are from the inside out, having a love fest with yourself, which is not narcissism, right? That narcissism is when it's a love fest with yourself at everybody else's expense. But when you have a love fest with yourself and you ignite that love, soul, heart, spirit, knowingness, and everything within you, you are now going to cup runneth over, and you're going to exude out an energy that's going to be infectious and ignite that energy in other people. So it is all about raising our vibrations, coming to a higher frequency, which this planet needs, which we need as a species, and which what the universe is inviting us to step up to do.
Oh, absolutely. And the nature. Nature is so wise because she just allows. Because, sort of, we're coming to that time of the year here in the UK where it's autumn. The leaves off the trees and so many bushes, etc., the beautiful colours. But it's that time of rest.
Yes.
Nature gets it.
Yes.
It's about time we got it.
But we did. No, but we used to, because we used to have to be so in tune with nature, farming, light, and everything else. We used to be. Then electricity came along, and computers and internet and everything automated, and we kind of stepped back and let everything do things for us, and we lost our connection. How many people do not have a switched on heart? How can you listen to your soul intellect if your heart is not open? It's knocking at that heart door all the time, but if it's not open, and your heart needs to be open even to pain as well as to joy. And that means being able to, as you said, touch, feel, taste everything around you, because that ignites everything within you, right? So tune into nature, watch it. And let's actually go back a little bit to its incredible structure, because it's really brilliant.
It really, really is. And one of the things that I love about being in nature is that if you actually did an exercise, which is what I do sometimes, if you sit there and you're in nature and you shed, and when I say shed, I mean shed your roles. Okay? I am no longer someone's daughter. I am no longer someone's mother. I am no longer someone's auntie. I am no longer someone's employer. If you can just close your eyes for a moment and shed the roles of the responsibility, you will find that what's left is the essence of you. Yes. I am this being, undefined. And it is that being undefined that if you can find the joy within you, you have just tuned in.
Yeah.
So that is an exercise to do in nature. If you really want to tune in, find your peace, and find your joy. Because I also look at it akin to like a storm. When you're in balance and you're in the center, when you're in the eye of the storm, you're at your most peaceful part, no matter what the chaos is around you. So I'll just leave it at that.
There's been plenty of storms out there right now.
That's right.
And they come in many shapes and sizes and forms, and sort of, and it doesn't have to be about weather.
It's whether we survive it or not with the right attitude, right?
And that's just it, isn't it? It's our attitude to us. It's when if you're going through a tough time, just keep going. But you're going through a tough time. But what you are concentrating on is, it's a tough time. Well, okay, but what is this giving me? What is there? There is a good in this.
Yes.
What can I find within this as a positive? And I know that a lot of people will probably get very fed up with hearing, positive, negative, etc. Well, guess what? What you give your energy to is what you receive more of. And if you wish to get through what you're going through, then try and find something great about it, something good about it, something that empowers you about it. And trust that knowingness that actually, do you know what? It might be one tiny little thing, almost a pinprick within everything else. But if I can concentrate on that, it can get bigger and bigger, and it can help me with the whole of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And it's trusting that of concentration on, yeah, if you're going through a tough time, laugh. You know, laughter is, laughter is a great medicine. Love is a healer. It is the greatest healer. So bring in laughter and love, and you've got the medicine and you've got the healing. And when you do realize and feel the energy of that, allow the knowingness of that feeling of that energy. Handing over whoever wants to speak up.
There's another huge word that we don't give credence to, and one I think that we need to step into most certainly, gratitude. Right now in 2020, everybody's been looking at the lack, the not allowed. You have to give up. You can't do. And that's all people are focused on. And they get depressed, they get frustrated, they get angry, they get despondent. And what they don't see is the possibilities in front of them. That life is all about pivoting. It's about redirecting. It's about going down another path. If we actually made a list of what we are to be grateful for, and I point this out to people all the time, we're not in a war-torn zone, most of us. I know some part of the world still is. We haven't got bombs coming down on us, or those silent bombs that they used to have in the Second World War, and you didn't know they were there until they landed on you. We're not starving, right? Again, I know there's still this issue plenty around in the world, but I'm just talking generally in developed countries. We've got Zoom, we've got webinars, we've got podcasts, we've got TV, we've got everything else.
Yes.
We can talk to our families anywhere. So instead of concentrating on the lack, start looking at what's to be grateful for, because that gratitude opens up opportunities, opens up possibilities. And unless you are feeding those possibilities, seed, water, and nurture today what you want to grow tomorrow. Right? And that attitude, that gratitude with a positive attitude, will show you what is possible out there, what to redirect to. But if you're in the, I haven't got, I'm not allowed, that's the only energy that you're feeding yourself, and you're going to go down the sorrow well. And it's hard to get out of that.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Another addition that would fall right in alignment with what you were saying, Sara, was also use your imagination and your creativity. We're at a point now where things that were the status quo are no longer.
Yeah.
So instead of, sitting there going, I can't do this and I can't do that, we need to get creative, and we need to use our imagination, and we need to create the framework of what we're looking for. It's beautiful, the fact that, some things are falling apart, they can be replaced. Yes. And they can be replaced with our own creativity, our own framework. We can let go of the old shift, of the old paradigm, and we can create what it is that we're looking for. So if we go with a positive attitude, we go with that creativity, we go with that imagination, we go knowing and having the confidence to say, if I can't do this alone, I will build the community to do it.
Yes.
And then we go after it. I think that is something that we need to invite into our lives at this time.
Yeah.
And it's very important. It's very important to be able to imagine and see life how you would like it, so that life could possibly be that walk to it.
Yeah. Can I just mention a saying that was given to me 3 years ago in preparation of where we're at now? The universe is shaking us up to wake us up, for us to step up and changing up, and in many ways grow up. Yeah. Right? Which it. Grow up is, double entendre, get out of your own ego, but also grow up to the universe. And boy, have we been shaken. We've been woken. We've been invited to stand up. And that changing up is when all of our voices are in chorus together. We're all singing that same song. And in that unison, we realize how empowering we really are, how creative we really are, the abilities that we really do have, and how coming together in that orchestra, we can create something that empowers others to believe that they can be a part of the equation as well. So yes, I completely agree that creativity right now is a key, absolute key to moving forward.
Yeah. Chuck away the box. Throw away the box.
What box?
I chucked mine away a long time ago.
Oh, people have been trying to put me in a box for years. They've given up.
I know. I put my own self in a box for years, and then it's just like, actually, no. And
yes.
It's gone. You know,
yes.
It's not a matter of I have walls around me. So I need to find a door. It's what box? What wall?
Yes.
There is total freedom for us all.
Yeah.
Even in what's going on today in the world, regardless of when you're listening to this, because I've no doubt something will be going on.
Yes.
Chuck the box away. Realize there are no walls, there are no barriers other than the ones you've created for yourself. So rather than using your imagination to have a wall, which I've got one right next to me, wherever that. No walls, no boxes. Realize, use your imagination to get rid of them, knock them down. Feel what surrounds you. Step out into nature, but actually step back into yourself. To feel your heart. Your heart's your connection to your soul. And I think in our own ways, each one of us has been in that position of get rid of the box, be who we are. Don't let other people dictate to you. We were having a conversation before, and I was saying, I just don't do the makeup thing.
Yes.
And I was told, although you should, if you're going to be a speaker, you should do the makeup thing. It's no.
Yes.
Not happening.
No. And it wouldn't be you, right? It would be a facade of you. Yes.
Absolutely. And exactly. So be true to you. If true to you means you're happy to put a load of makeup on, do it. If being true to you means, you mean I haven't got to put makeup on? Oh, and it doesn't matter what other people think, because actually it's not how I look, it's how I sound. It's the energies of what I bring. That is the important thing. And feel that energy and feel that knowingness, allow it, of who you are. And there will be people that will leave your life.
Yes. Bye-bye.
And let them.
Yes.
Let them. They're meant to.
Yeah.
They have their own journey.
Yeah. You know, just a quick thing on the box. You're talking about the role. Let go of your roles. Take off the role of mother, this and that. It's the same thing with the box. You've allowed someone to put you in the box and dictate who you are. It's the same thing with your role. If you take all your roles off and then you're left with your beautiful, vulnerable inner self, right? Now you can really walk forward in your light and in your truth. So same box or roles, it's the same thing.
And what's left is that it's infectious because people see you.
Yes.
I see you. You know, they'll go, oh my God, what's different about you? What is it? And they won't be able to put their hand on it. But because you are in your confidence, because you are in your light, because you are in your truth, it's infectious.
Yes.
You're seen. And then what happens is that you won't even realize that you're motivating people, that you are inspiring people in such a way that you would have never thought that you could. Because all you're doing is standing in your truth, in your elevated vibration. And, you know, as a person who circles the world and meets people all over the world with different cultures, the only thing that I really found that I need is just a smile.
Yeah.
Because the smile is the first telltale of who you are and how you're presenting yourself. And they see you and they see within you. Because when you're smiling with your whole self, you're bringing it all forward.
Yeah. Yeah, not the schizo smile. Hello.
One, yes.
Yeah.
It is just so important. And the three of us have met this year, 2020, and in our own unique ways, we're here to touch lives. And that's why we do these conversations.
Yes.
We bring these conversations to help people to realize that they aren't on their own. Many, many people have gone through an awful lot of tough stuff. Our stories are all different, but they get to the same point. We have overcome the things that have happened to us.
Mm-hmm.
And we have still said, this is me. I've got,
Happily.
if you want to go to that song, this is me. Be
Without
proud.
apology.
Without, absolutely, be proud of who you are. When you are being true to yourself, then you can touch lives in a way that you never could when you were following what other people told you had to be like.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, you're trying to be what everybody else wants you to be. And believe me, I spent most of my life in a pretzel trying to be what they needed of Sara. And, you know, I found I'm talking about roles. I'll be this role for this person, this role for that person. And I got lost. I lost who I was. And it took me 8 years for me to come back to who I am. And, you know, I had shut down my soul and my heart, and I was in my duty. Right. And in that duty, I was serving everyone else, but it was depleting me more and more and more because the chi, the energy, was not running through me. It wasn't coming from the universe to replenish me and guide me. I had shut down and I became sick because of it. The dis-ease, right? Because I was trying to please everyone else instead of myself. And I love Popeye saying, I am what I am. Right? Right? I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm somebody's strong cup of black coffee, right? You know, it is be yourself. Everybody else is taken. Be yourself, right? There's a beautiful divine light in you, a beautiful instrument and gift ready to be shared with the world. It's your contribution to the world. Stop living by the expectations of others or what you should be. Start looking into the gift that you were given of who you really are and light it up and let that light shine up without apology, in exuberance, in passion, in gratitude. And then you will be that energy, exuberance, and invitation. Inspiration begets invitation for other people, right? Because that light just shines bright and other people get soaked in it.
Absolutely. I just wanted to mention too, I'm sitting here thinking about that too. People don't realize that when you accept somebody else's projection as your truth, you've just given all your power away.
Yeah.
And then you're living to someone's expectation, which you can never fulfill because you're not that person. You're not that person's experience, any of it. So it is imperative that we stand in our truth. And although people like to offer their projections and their judgments, we can just acknowledge them. But you don't have to take it on as that's who I am.
Right.
And that's why we drain our energy, because we expend it trying to be something that we're not, or we're expended trying to fulfill a projection that someone gave us. And it's not who we are. And it's not what we believe in. So why do we take it on in the first place?
Why?
So in the knowingness, knowing that it doesn't resonate with you, stand in your truth, just like you said.
It's also important to realize that while you are constantly seeking approval from others, so therefore you are doing things, holding two people back. You're holding them back and you're holding yourself back.
Yes.
And so being true to you I've said this so many times, learning to say no. You know, and being in that knowingness that you've honored yourself by saying no to something that doesn't resonate with you.
Right.
It may still resonate with the other individual, but encourage them to do it for themselves or seek the support elsewhere. But if we don't do things for ourselves, how do we learn? How do we grow? And so if you are somebody constantly asking other people to do stuff for you, you're not growing. Be kind to yourself and start doing it for yourself. It's said with love. It isn't said with any other feeling. It is said with love. Be true to you, honor what is right for you, and be prepared to honor others what is right for them.
Amen, sister. You know, it's what you were saying earlier. You know, it's if we're not stepping into our own light, if we're not being our own selves, if we're not putting forth ourselves, makeup or no makeup, you know, rich or poor, educated or not educated, it's about the abundance that lies within us. And if we're not putting it forward, we're doing ourselves a disservice. And we're also doing a disservice to the service that we're meant to be giving others. Because we're here, like our children, we're custodians of our children. And we're guiders of other people. We're not there to do it for them. We're just there to share the skills and the tools that they can apply to their own journey, put in their own backpack and carry forth with them, right? That's not to say that if you have a business, you want to delegate to certain things to other people because they're better at it, right? But if you've tried your own hat on and you go, okay, this is not my forte, I'm going to give this to someone else, but I at least know what it's like. And I know what to ask of people because I can do it myself, but they can do it better. And I think that wearing of many hats, wearing of many roles, it's knowing when to take it off but which hat is really you. Or which hats are really you? I wear quite a number of them, you know, and sometimes the neck gets a bit wobbly, but it's always remembering, who cares if you are wearing makeup or not? It's not about that. It's about the radiance that comes from you, the inner beauty that excels outside of you, and that is really where the abundance, the nectar, the exuberance is, the invitation is, right? Just be yourself. You're enough.
I love that you're saying that because it's about loving self, loving the totality of what you see in the mirror, you know, trusting self and just bringing it all forward. And that's the juiciness of the knowing. That's the juiciness of it all.
Yes. It's also the peace.
Yes.
Right? It's that tranquility. It's that deep breath. I'm all right to be me. It's okay for me I'm enough with what I bring forth. Somebody else may go and do it bigger and grander. That's their journey. What I do, the dish that I put on the table, I've put on the table with love. And that is enough. I am enough, and I don't need to live up to anybody else's expectation, only my own. And don't let your expectations be dictated by somebody else's opinion.
And I am worthy.
I'm worthy.
I am worthy. I am lovable. I am caring. I am.
Yes.
You use that word, I am, with beautiful, caring, loving words, and realize that it is the truth about yourself. And just feel the energy. And as you open up to all of that, the knowingness becomes stronger. So the title being allowing the knowingness. Allow yourself to be you.
Yeah.
every single person, I've been saying this for so many years, every single person is special in their own unique way. No one is more or less special than anybody else.
Right.
And I remember a client saying to me after a session one day and saying, "Oh, you are special." And I looked at her and said, "I know." Because she knew me well enough to know there was absolutely no conceit.
Right. Right.
None
Right.
whatsoever. Because I knew she was, as is every single, anybody that listens to this, doesn't listen to it, every single person in this world is special in their own unique way.
Stop trying to be someone else.
Absolutely. Everybody else is taken. Yes. I love it. I think it's brilliant. Oh,
well, at this point, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I thank you so much. And has anybody got any other comments they would like to make before we draw it to a close? Sara.
Well, I mean, you know, I've had you on my network, Self-Discovery Media, and, you know, you shared your wonderful wisdom. I'm inviting you on, my love, to come and share yours as well, please. And, you know, I know from my own journey of my own self-discovery of how much I have learned from other people's journeys. You know, we realize how strong, how courageous, how much ability we have. And when we're willing to go through the process, not around it, not avoid it, not pay someone else to do it, but go through the process of how much we grow, how much we step into self, how much we step into our meaningful purpose, how much we understand why we're here, what life is really about, and how we can step forth with our gift and really start utilizing it out there. And I've learned so much from people that I won't blame them if they gave up with what they've gone through. And yet they found that strength and that courage to go through it. And just that sheer illumination of the struggle that they were willing to go through and be who they are today. And now sharing, not the sorrow, but how they came through it and what they're here to do today is just extraordinary and so uplifting. And this is the reason why we, all three of us, do what we do. Because if we could switch that light on other people, if we could ignite that heart in other people, if we can have people leaving believing they can get through this, you're not alone. Others have gone through it too. Listen to them. They'll be your guide. Then we will all be better off as a human race. And this planet will be a lot happier with us.
That was so well stated. Thank you so much. I think we're going to leave it exactly with that. And that segues beautifully into what we're going to have on the next today's conversation, which is going to be between Sara Jane and I. And it's going to be Listen, Let Yourself Heal.
Good one.
On December 11th. So thank you so much, Sara Troy. So happy to have you here and so grateful that you could spend this time with us in this beautiful conversation. And thank you, Sara Jane. So grateful for your insight always. And I'm Enolia. And we want to thank you for listening to today's conversation.
And if you'd like to learn more about all three of us, you'll find the information on the About Us page of Gift of Healing TV. So please, you can connect with Sara, you can connect with Enolia, you can connect with myself. Please feel free to, if it resonates with you. There's no sales pitch. This is just a conversation, and we hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you, all of you. Thank you to those of you that have been watching live. Everybody's been quiet, but I think we've shared so much. Thank you, ladies. It's been a real pleasure. We'll see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.